This is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. We are continuing with part 2 today of this great topic. We speak about the ingredients of developing credibility as a church leader, ingredients of developing credibility as a leader in church or as a Christian leader. Very, very important. And we spoke earlier about character as one of those ingredients. But today, I want to speak about competence as part of those ingredients. Competence as part of the ingredients of building credibility as a leader. Now, credibility is built by competence. Very, very important. And according to research, you'll realize that this is one of the attributes that people look for and admire most in leaders. When a leader is competent, people start to admire them. And competent people are likable, by the way. And people want to follow people that are competent. And research has proven that as well. So therefore, as a leader, as a church leader, you need to increase or improve your competence. And competence is improved by shaping your skills, either by training them or going to courses and learn workshops as well, to be involved in that. But competence is very important for you to scrutinize your skills and see where you are lacking. And therefore start working on increasing your skills and improving on your skills. And that's what we call competence then when you get to that level. It is very important that we look at competence as very, very important. Because this transports us to the first law of leadership, which is if you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe in the message as well. And that's very key. And you'll realize that when the messenger is not believed in, then you cannot believe the message that the messenger is bringing. And that shows that when somebody is not competent enough, according to your eyes or the way you see them, you're not going to be able to listen to them and follow them. And that's the reason why many leaders have actually lost in this battle, because they are not credible enough, and therefore they cannot be trusted, and nobody want to follow them because they are not competent enough. What is competence? And I think this is very important for us to look at. Competence is the leader's capability to perform well in specific context, having the expertise and ability to get things done. Expertise and ability to get things done. And that's very important. You must be competent. You must be having capability to do things. And that can be done by learning and being ready to become teachable as well. And that's very, very key. And many of leaders, they are not teachable enough. Many leaders, they are not able to be listening to anybody teaching them. And that's very important, that if you want to improve your skills and be able to be competent, you need to learn from other people as well. Competent Christian leaders have the gifts, knowledge, they've got skills needed to perform well in their services to the Savior, and they will have demonstrated competence in their past and present ministries as well, representing proven ministry capability, whereby they can do things in the ministry, whereby they can be able to continue showing signs of ability and capability. And that's competent. And competent people are actually easily being followed. And I must really say that it is very pertinent in the days that we're living in, that we don't only have church leaders that are running ministry poorly and without excellence. And this is very key, that you become competent to be able to run the ministry. And that is why, as Church Governance Solutions, we canvass the fact that church leaders should actually go to Bible colleges. Church leaders must go and study and show themselves approved. They must show themselves approved before the men and before God as well. They must study, they must go to Bible colleges and learn and know and become more competent in what you're doing. You cannot continue the way you do. And we emphasize also that you have mentors as well. People that can teach you, people that can coach you, people that can lead you, people that can guide you in how to lead your ministry. You cannot be mediocre and accept the fact that you're mediocre, because as a church leader, you need to be competent. And that's very key, because competency becomes actually a builder of what we call credibility as well. Very, very important. Now, the result when you are competent is that followers have confidence in you, that their leader know how to get job done, well, and they can trust their leadership to new things that involve change and risk management as well. And I must emphasize this because we have seen in many churches where pastors will actually appoint people just because they are their relatives. They will appoint people because they are sons, they are daughters of them, or their relatives in their own household. But you find that the people are not competent enough. And I must emphasize that pastors, please, when you are leading a church, appoint people that are competent, because that's the only way you're going to increase trust and belief in your church leadership based on how your people see your leaders to be competent. Now, less competent people, or people that are not competent at all, that are leaders, they're actually discouraging followership. And that is why in such churches, you'll realize that people walk away. They don't want to be part of that church because it's just that there's no credibility there, because the leaders are not competent enough. And I must emphasize this because it's very, very important. Now, look at what we call gifts. A gift is very important, but it needs to be shaped up. It needs to be developed. It needs to be at a level where it makes you confident. Knowledge as well is not important until you utilize it and use it. Because there are many people that have knowledge, but yet they are not actually applying the knowledge. What we call wisdom is application of knowledge. And if you don't apply knowledge, believe me that you're not going to be able to be credible. You're not going to be able to build your character either. And that's very important, that you don't just have knowledge for the sake of having knowledge, but apply that knowledge. Very, very important to mention that. Skills, there are people that have skills, but those skills, when they are not applied as well, it becomes actually a wasted skills. They are redundant. They are not actually being able to be used if you're not able to use those skills as well. Now, competent leaders are gifted leaders. God has given them the necessary gifts and abilities to lead and to serve in the ministry. Now, these are both natural gifts and spiritual gifts that I'm speaking about here, that a leader that is going to be credible needs to be having. And because God has given you gifts, therefore, make sure that you develop them, you shape them as well. Now, competent leaders are knowledgeable leaders as well. They have the knowledge and they are intelligent enough, and that intelligence that's necessary to accomplish their godly given task, because it's not only just intelligence of the world, but intelligence that is able to help you do your God-given tasks. Most often they know that they do this, and either intuitively or they do it actually with practical knowledge. They are trained, they are knowing what to do. And this is very, very important, because when you apply your learned knowledge and apply it, then that shows that you are somebody who's having knowledge. I've said that in the past, that knowledge is not good enough if it's not being applied. Regardless, they have the knowledge that it takes to lead a church in 21st century, because it's going to be very important now to look at the century that we're in and say, how do we then lead churches in the 20th century? Because things have changed, and I'm sure you will agree with me. A lot of technology and the dynamics of the world, the political landscape, we're looking at economic landscape as well, and all those, they're going to need people that are skilled, that are knowledgeable, people that are competent enough in what they do. Very, very important that we must mention that it is very key that you have competence as a leader. Now, too many pastors don't know their personal ministry values, or that the church mission should be, because that's part of the knowledge that you must have, where you must know your church mission, you must know your vision as well, and values as well, and be able to apply them. And when you don't know that, you lack knowledge, and you're not going to be able to capitalize on making sure that people know exactly what you're all about. And many, they don't know how to, or what the church's mission is about, and how to develop also what we call disciple-making strategy, because those are type of skills that you need. So disciple-making strategy is about drafting a way or a pathway that will help you to increase the capacity of the church in numbers, in finances and also in capacity of work as well. So that's what we call quantitative and qualitative growth of the church. It's going to need people that are competent to be able to develop the church to that level. And I'm emphasizing this because many of the churches remain where they are, stagnant as they are. And it's because the leader, he himself or herself, do not know what to do. They don't have strategies. They don't know what to do. And every level of the church, they don't know what to do at all. Now, competent leaders are skillful leaders. And I must also speak about this because it's very important for us to know that when you are skillful, you become generally, you know what to do. It is also important that you know how to do it. Because it's not only to know what to do, but you must know how to do that which you want to do. And that's particularly what we call competence in general. Knowing what to do is only half the job done, is only half the battle, but how to do it becomes very key. But you cannot know how to do it unless if you are ready to learn on how to do things. And that's what we call development of competency. And that's very important that as a leader, as a church leader, you need to develop competency that will be able to be applied for the church itself. Being able to carry it out and being assured of victory as well in everything that you do. Not only do leaders need to know the Bible, but they need to be able to communicate its truth with skill and with a good insight as well. So you don't need just to know the Bible. You don't need just to quote verses, but you need to be able to articulate them. And that's competence, that's knowledge, and that's what is necessary. And you need to be skilled to do that. And how to present the Bible is very important as well, because there are those that know the Bible, but they are not able to articulate it well. They're not able to present it with skills and knowledge. Very, very important. Not only do they need also to know how to define a vision, but they need to be able to develop and then cast that vision out to the people, because then the people need to follow, the people need to do things according to how the vision calls them to do. And that's very important. Now, competence is very important because competence brings personal confidence and public credibility to the leader. Well, when you're not sure of what you're doing, you tend to not be trusted, and you tend to lose your own confidence as well. Now, we are saying as a church leader, as a Christian leader, you must be able to be confident. And confidence is brought by competence. When you're competent in what you're doing, you will agree with me that you will actually be able to be confident as well. And continue doing things confidently because you know what you are doing. And that's very important. And leaders that are confident, they do things well. And they are continuing doing things very, very well. And a major proof of one's competence and credibility in ministry is the results that are happening there. And I want to emphasize that Paul didn't need a letter to commend his abilities to the Corinthian congregation. So he needed his competence, and his competence showed up, and they trusted him. The Spirit's work through Paul in the life of Corinthian church was living proof of the competence that Paul had as a minister of a new covenant. You can look at that in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1 to 3. Very, very important that Paul had competence himself, and that actually increased the credibility of him. We must never forget that our competence or our skills and knowledge that get the ministry done, and our confidence thereof, our belief in what we are doing and that we can do, they come from God themselves. But we need to shape them, we need to develop them. And in the book of, the very same book of 2 Corinthians that I've mentioned, chapter 3, when you read from verse 1 to 6, that will tell you that. Paul is the one who has provided us with God is the one who has provided us with gifts, rather. And you realize that when God has provided you with gifts, you are able to shape them up and make them actually usable. And when you are putting them in place and use them, they become even more excellent, and you do even more better. Now, God has given us knowledge, has given us skills for our ministries, then we need to use that. We can take no credit for them at all because they are given by God themselves. Now, finally, as I close on this one, our competence has limits, though. And I want you to look at the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 14 to 30. It will show you that competence will have limits. Though we can grow and increase our level of competence by using our gifts, expanding our knowledge of ministry, and further developing our ministry skills, most leaders will eventually reach the limit of their competence. And I'm sure you would have seen that before. Thus, when leaders are willing then to step in, bring people along, that will support them, that will be there for them as well, and move to another ministry so as not to hinder God's work. So very, very important, very, very key that you have competence. And when you have reached the limit, move to another ministry and make sure that you become relevant and you are continuing to do that. I'm talking about now when we have leaders that are leading department. You might have reached your sell-by date in a department. Look for another department, get to another department and show off your skills there and develop and grow. Now, I want to end up here today. Your host, Micornus Phokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and being part of this great topic. We continue with part 3 tomorrow, and I hope you will join us and be part of part 3 as well. And the good Lord will bless you as you do that. But before we check out, remember our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, our Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. All those need to be liked. Our YouTube channel, please subscribe to it as well. And the good Lord will bless you as you listen to us. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.